Assalamu alaikum. Let us start another topic. Today we'll be discussing on pension. Okay. In P6. Okay. In P6 ATX. In our syllabus, actually, we have two pension plans. One is occupational pension plan. Occupational pension plan. Actually, occupational pension plan means the plan which is run by the employer. Occupational pension plan means the pension plan which is run by the employer. Okay. Number one, employer's contribution. Employer's contribution in occupational pension plan for its, let's say, employee is an exempt benefit for employee. So whatever employer is contributing into occupational pension plan for their employees, these are employer contribution to occupational pension plan is an exempt benefit for the employee. For example, you are an employee of A Limited, and A Limited, what it does, it contributes on your behalf for you into occupational pension scheme. So that is an exempt benefit for you. Exempt benefit for you. And for the employer, it is an allowable expense. While calculating trading income, employer is going to deduct this as an expense from their profit. So for the employer, it is an allowable expense. Allowable expense means employer will deduct this occupational pension plan contribution from their trading profit. Okay. Second point, if employee contributes into occupational pension plan, then if employee contributes into occupational pension plan, then it is an allowable expense for the employee. It is an allowable expense for the employee. It is an allowable expense for the employee, which means this contribution will be deducted from employees' employment income. If employee contributes into occupational pension plan, then it is an allowable expense for the employee, which means This contribution will be deducted from employees' employment income. Okay. So occupational pension plan is very simple. If you are an employee of any organization and that organization runs the pension plan, it is called occupational pension plan. Your employer is contributing for you, then that is an exempt benefit for you as an employee. But if you are contributing into occupational pension plan as an employee, then it is an allowable expense for you and you are supposed to deduct that contribution from your employment income. But actually, who gets occupational pension plan? Number one, employee, and number two, employer. If employer is running this plan, then obviously you can become a part of this plan. But there are so many other employees, there are so many other people in UK. They are not employees. Or even they are employees, there is a possibility that employer does not run occupational pension plan. One more thing, let's say it is also possible. You are an employee, you are a member of occupational pension plan, but you still want to contribute into pension schemes. What to do? So there is one more pension plan available for employee, that is personal pension plan. Personal pension plan. Now what is this personal pension plan? Actually, let's say for example you have taken an insurance policy from the insurance company. So if any individual in UK contributes in personal pension plan, how it works, now let us discuss that. Now we are not discussing occupational pension plan, now we are discussing personal pension plan. Point number one. If employer contributes for employee into personal pension plan, then it is an exempt benefit for the employee, and for the employer, such contribution is an allowable expense. So simply allowable expense means employer is going to deduct this contribution for their trading profit, trading income. Okay. Now what if an individual is contributing in PPC by himself, for himself? That is, nobody is contributing for you. Let's say you are an employee of A Limited and you have asked your company that please contribute for me in personal pension plan. And your employer replied you that we don't contribute into personal pension plan for our employees. And you ask them why. They said we are just responsible to give you salary, and sometimes we are planning not to give you salary as well because there is COVID-19. You said, sorry sir, I am happy with my salary, please don't contribute into my personal pension scheme. My mistake, it was my mistake to ask you for the contribution. For that I say, accept my apologies. Employer says, okay. So let's discuss again. If employer is contributing in personal pension plan for their employees, for those employees, such contribution is an exempt benefit. For the employer, it is an allowable expense. Okay. If an individual contributes If an individual contributes into personal pension plan, then that individual gets 3 benefits. You can say 3 advantages. What are those advantages? That is, let's discuss A, B and C. A. If an individual contributes into personal pension scheme for himself or herself, then that individual gets actually 3 benefits, 3 advantages. Advantage number 1. Whatever individual contributes into personal pension plan, it is treated as 80% and 20% is paid by HMRC. Paid by HMRC. So whatever individual is contributing, it will be treated as 80% and 20% is paid by HMRC. Okay. Second benefit. With gross PPC. With gross PPC. Basic and higher rate bands limits will increase. Means in basic rate band we have the limit till 37,500. You have to add up gross PPC. Higher rate band 150 plus you need to add up gross PPC. So gross means all you need is whatever that individual has contributed, multiply that amount with 100 and divide it by 80. By multiplying with 100 and dividing with 80 makes contribution gross. Okay. How do we calculate gross contribution? Just a minute. Take the contribution amount, multiply this with 100 divided by 80. Take that contribution amount, multiply by 100 and divide by 80, makes it gross. Okay. Third benefit. Gross PPC reduces ANI, that is adjusted net income. The question is, gross PPC reduces adjusted net income, so what is the benefit? There is a benefit. If someone is having adjusted net income more than 1 lakh, then that individual will not get the entire personal allowance of 12,500, because whoever is having adjusted net income more than 1 lakh, then personal allowance starts reducing for those individuals. Okay. But what gross PPC does, while calculating adjusted net income, we deduct gross PPC from net income. Just imagine that without gross PPC, your adjusted net income is more than 1 lakh, and after contributing gross, after taking gross contribution in a calculation, your adjusted net income is, let's say, 1 lakh or maybe less than 1 lakh. Whoever is having adjusted net income of 1 lakh or less than that, personal allowance will not reduce for that individual. So there is another benefit of gross PPC is it reduces ANI, which helps you to save your personal allowance, not to waste your personal allowance. So these are the three benefits. Every individual gets these three benefits, whoever is contributing in PPC. Okay. Now I strongly believe you have a really fair idea of what is this occupational pension plan and what is this personal pension plan. Okay. Now let us see the question. Through question we are going to solve them. Okay, we have question number 17. Mr. A is having a salary of 56,000. He made a contribution in occupational pension plan 4,000. We have just discussed if an employee contributes in occupational pension plan, then such contribution reduces employment income. His employer contributes 6,000 in his pension plan. His employer also contributes 6,000 in his pension plan or personal pension plan. Now listen and listen carefully. Either your employer is contributing into occupational pension plan or into personal pension plan. In any one of the pension plan employer chooses, you need to understand one thing. Either employer contributes in occupational pension plan or employer contributes in personal pension plan. For employees, such contributions are exempt benefits. So this 6,000 is an exempt benefit for employee. An employee has contributed into occupational pension plan of 4,000. This 4,000 contribution will reduce employment income. So question number 17, I would say, is very straightforward, pretty straightforward. We have salary of 4,000. Mr. A's contribution. Mr. A's contribution to PPC, to OPPC. OPPC means occupational pension contribution. We deduct that as 4,000. See, employer's contribution is an exempt benefit. Employer's contribution. See, employer's contribution is exempt benefit, so 56 minus 4 gives us. We'll have taxable income. $52,000 minus 12,500 gives me 39,500. I need to calculate tax. 37,500, the rate is 20%, gives me 7,500. If we deduct 37,500 from 39,500, we'll get 2,000. But now that this time the tax rate is 80%. So tax payable is 8,300. So I strongly believe that there shouldn't be any problem for you. We have total income of 52,000. From that total income, I have deducted personal allowance, so taxable income is 39,500, and income tax on that 39,500 comes to 8,300. Okay. Now let's try another question. Question number 18 is extremely important, I would say. Question 18 is extremely important. Let us read this question 18 carefully, what it says. Mr. J earns employment income of 46,000. Mr. J is earning employment income 46,000. He wants to make pension contribution 12,000. either in occupational pension plan or PPC. Advising. A very straightforward question is, there is someone called Mr. J who's earning employment income of 46,000. Actually, he wants to contribute 12,000, but he's confused. He really wants our advice. Either he should contribute that 12,000 into occupational pension plan, or he should contribute that amount into PPC. Let us see how to tackle this question. Question 18. Let's say first we are solving as contribution in occupational pension plan. Mr. J contribution in OPPC. OPPC means what? Occupational pension plan contribution. Okay. If Mr. J contributes in OPPC, so we have discussed whenever an employee contributes in OPPC, for that particular employee, occupational pension plan contribution is an allowable expense, and that employee is supposed to deduct that occupational pension contribution from their employment income. So we have been given employment income of 46,000. Employment income 46,000. Let us deduct Mr. J's OPPC contribution, occupational pension plan contribution, which is 12,000. So 46 minus 12 gives me 34, that is net employment income. Let us deduct personal allowance, 12,500. So taxable income is 34,000 minus 12,500 gives me 21,500. Entire 21,500 actually falls in basic rate band. So easy to calculate income tax payable. Let's take 20% of this. $4,300. So we have income tax payable of 4,300 and Mr. J's contribution in OPPC is 12,000, which means what? Now listen and listen carefully. Which means that, now listen, when it comes to occupational pension contribution, so logically there is cash outflow of OPPC. That is logically your cash outflow. Obviously this liability is going to be your cash outflow as well. I'm not paying today, but I know that in the future I have to pay 4,300 tax payment. So logically my cash outflow will be 4,300 plus 12,000. So there is a liability of 4,300, which is going to be of course cash outflow, not today then tomorrow, not tomorrow then the day after tomorrow. But obviously we'll end up by paying this 4,300. It means the total cash which is involved is 12,000 plus this 4,300. Okay. Now let's see if Mr. J contributes this 12,000 as PPC. What happens? Mr. J's contribution of 12,000 gross into PPC. Mr. J's contribution of 12,000 gross into PPC, personal pension contribution. Let's see what happens. Employment income. Employment income is 46,000. Now listen and listen carefully. Any individual who contributes into PPC, contribution into PPC is not an allowable expense for that individual. For example, if Mr. X is contributing into PPC for himself, such contribution is not an allowable expense for that individual. So if you are contributing in PPC for yourself, you will not treat that contribution as an expense. Okay. You are not supposed to deduct that contribution from your incomes. So as an individual, if you are contributing in PPC, that contribution is not treated as an expense. Okay. So we have employment income of 46,000. Now let us deduct personal allowance 12,500. So what is the taxable? So your taxable income is 33,500. So entire 33,500 actually falls in basic rate band. Mm-hmm. 20%. 20. It is 6,500 or 700. So income tax is actually 6,700. Okay. Now let us see. In case of PPC, what happens? And in case of OPPC and PPC, what happens? In OPPC, income tax liability is 4,300. In PPC, it is income tax liability. In OPPC, in occupational pension plan, income tax liability of this individual comes to 4,300, and in case of PPC, personal pension contribution, income tax liability is 6,700. Okay. OPPC contribution is 12,000. PPC contribution. Actually 12,000 is not the contribution of that individual. We did discuss that whatever individual contributes, it is treated as 80% and 20% is paid by HMRC. Okay. If I take 80% of this amount, which means 9,600. This is cash paid, and this is also cash paid. Now just see what happens. If I simply add 4,300 into 12,000, yes. 6,700 plus 9,600. Look at it. This is also 16,300. Please, you can check your calculator. You will definitely get same answer. So this 16,300 in case of occupational pension plan and in case of personal pension plan, this 16,300 is actually representing. It makes no difference as far as overall tax implications are concerned, that either individual is a basic rate taxpayer or a either individual is contributing in OPPC or PPC. This calculation is actually representing that it makes no difference that either individual contributes in OPPC or in PPC. In both the cases, overall impact will be same, which can be seen in this question. On question number 18, we are getting the same result in case of occupational pension contribution and PPC contribution. So result is going to be same. So if in exam question comes and the question says that what is your advice that let's say Mr. J should contribute in PPC or OPPC, and let's say your examiner is, for example, saying there is no need of any calculation. So all you need is just you need to explain that either this Mr. J, let's say, contributes in OPPC or PPC, the overall impact or tax implication will be same. Actually, overall impact will be same. So overall, it will have the same impact. So which makes that individual indifferent either to contribute in OPPC or PPC. Okay. That was the conclusion. Next page. So we have another question. Question number 19. Let me read. Mr. F has employment income 57,000. He wants to make a contribution of 17,000 in pension scheme, either through occupational pension plan or PPC. We know that overall impact will be same. I want everyone to stop the video over here and solve the question with both the plan. Obviously, after that you can refer to my video. But I would strongly advise that you should pause the video on this question number 19 before looking at the remaining video lecture. I would say attempt question 19. So I believe that you have tried question number 19. We are solving Mr. F OPPC contribution. We are solving the question when Mr. F contributes in OPPC, occupational pension plan. Employment income is 57,000. We have discussed when an employee actually contributes in occupational pension plan, then such contribution is an allowable expense. Contribution in OPPC is 17,000. We'll have total income. Mm-hmm. 40,000. From this 40, I'll deduct personal allowance of 12,500. Taxable income is 27,500, and look at this taxable income, 27,500. So 27,500 means entire income of Mr. F actually falls in basic rate band. Income tax payable 27,500 into 20%. So how much cash is involved? Actually, there is 17, and there's an income tax liability of 5,500. Now I need to compare this with PPC. Mr. F contribution in PPC. Now let us solve the question all over again. Keeping in mind that Mr. F is actually contributing in PPC. himself is contributing in BPC. Okay. Employment income. $57,000. We have discussed, let me discuss it again. When an individual contributes in person pension plan, such contribution for himself or herself is not an allowable expense for that individual. Just deduct the person allowance 12,500. You will have taxable income. $57,000 minus 12,500 gives us 44,500. So your taxable income is 44,500. Okay. Your basic rate band is actually 37,500, and you have to add gross PPC. Now listen and listen carefully. Whenever you come across a question where your question says Mr. XYZ should contribute this amount into OPPC or PPC, in only such comparison questions, we always assume whatever examiner has given us, it is gross. Only in comparison questions, we assume whatever examiner has given us, it is gross, which means that in 37,500, if I add 17,000 gross PPC, so actually your basic rate band limit goes to 54,500, which means that entire 44,500 falls in basic rate band. So income tax liability. Your income tax liability is 8,900. Now let us see the comparison OPPC and PPC. Let's take tax payable. In OPPC, tax payable is 5,500. Now let us see the contribution. Contribution is 17,000. When it comes to PPC, we'll take 80% of this. Contribution paid. In case of PPC, of course, this individual has paid 17,000, but in case of PPC, this individual has not paid 17,000. He has paid only 80% of that amount, because 20% pays HMRC. Now simply add them. It comes to 22,000. So it can be seen again that either the individual is contributing in OPPC, occupational pension plan, or PPC, in personal pension plan. In both the cases, overall cash impact is same. Overall impact on the basis of the cash is same. So individual should be indifferent either he is contributing in OPPC or PPC. Overall tax implications are same. Okay. There is one more thing which just a single liner we need to discuss. What is that? After inshallah capital gain, we will be discussing tax reducers. Basically there are few investments in UK. If you make investment there are few, you can say, organization, companies, very small companies in UK. If you invest into shares of those companies, then your income tax liability will be reduced. So such investments are called tax reducers. That is EIS Enterprise Investment Scheme. We'll see this. Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme Venture Capital Trust, we'll see this, what is this all about. Comparison with pension, then pension is always a better option. If you come across a question where your examiner says compare investment and tax reducer with pension plan, so obviously we'll go in the favor of pension plan, because pension plans are highly regulated as compared to these investments. But right now, please do not get confused for what is this EIS, what is this SEIS, and what is this VCT. Inshallah, we will discuss these tax reducer in detail after capital gain. So right now, all you need is just try to understand one point. Whenever you come across a question which says compare pension contribution with investment and tax reducers, so we will always be in the favor of pension plans, because pension plans are highly regulated as compared to these investments. Now let's go ahead and let me introduce one new concept. The name of the new concept is Annual Allowance of Pension. Annual allowance for pension. So actually in UK, HMRC has given us a limit that actually how much an individual can contribute into pension plans. Obviously now there are three questions. What is that limit? Number two, someone contributes less than that limit, then what happens? Third and the last question. If someone contributes more than that limit, then what happens? So there are three actually basic questions. Number one, what is the limit of this annual allowance of pension? Second, if an individual contributes less than that, then what happens? And if an individual contributes more than that limit, then what happens? Okay, that's great. Let me tell you. Annual allowance for pension. Annual, you can say pension allowance for tax year 2021 is 40,000. In fact, in 1920 it was also 40. It was in 1819 also 40. In 1718 it was 40. Okay. In 1617 it was 40. In 1516 it was 40. And 1415 it was 40. Before 1415, annual allowance limit was 50,000. So it is quite obvious that your examiner is not going to set up a question on tax year 14-15. So you won't be getting any annual allowance limit of 50,000 questions. So no need to worry about that. All you need is simply concentrate on one thing, that your annual allowance for pension limit is 40,000. Okay. Now, next question is, the limit of 40,000, how it consumes, or you can say like this, the limit of 40,000, how do we consume this limit? How do we consume this 40,000 limit? Okay. How do we use this limit? Now listen carefully. Actually, annual allowance limit is consumed by the contribution by the following contributions. Number one, employer's contribution in OPPC, employer's contribution in OPPC, that is an occupational pension plan. Second, employer's second is employer's contribution in PPC. Third, employees' contribution in OPPC. Fourth and the last, employees' contribution in PPC. Employees' contribution in PPC. Okay. So maximum the annual allowance limit is consumed in 4 contributions. If your employer is contributing for you in occupational pension plan, then your annual allowance limit will be consumed, will be used. If your employer is contributing in PPC for yourself, then still this 40,000 limit will be consumed. Employees contribution in OPPC and employees contribution in PPC. Okay. Now actually what happens, your annual allowance is 40,000. Okay. Maximum there are 4 contributions which are going to actually consume this limit. So I'll deduct, for example, contribution number 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now there are 2 possibilities. One, I may get the negative answer. Another possibility is I may get the positive answer. Negative answer shows that you have contributed more than the limit. Repeat. Negative answer shows that contribution is more than the limit. Okay. Then what to do? If your answer is negative, which does mean your contributions, they have exceeded the limit. Second, if your answer is positive, which shows that your contributions are less than the limit. Now listen and listen carefully. If answer is positive, first I am discussing this. If answer is positive, it shows unused annual allowance limit. If your answer is positive, for example, the annual allowance limit is 40,000 and assuming there is a contribution of 1,000, 2,000, let's say 4,000 and 3,000. So still the answer is 30,000 positive, which shows that 30,000 limit is unused. Okay. So in case of having a positive answer which shows unused limit, what to do? Unused limit of annual allowance is carried forward for 3 years, for 3 tax years, and it is used on FIFO basis. If you are having a positive answer, the positive answer shows unused limit of annual allowance, which is carried forward for 3 tax years, and it is used on FIFO basis. It is used on FIFO basis. Okay. Now the next question is, what do you mean by FIFO basis? What is this first in, first out? I'll explain that. Don't worry. So the question is, what do you mean by FIFO basis? Let me explain this now. What is the meaning of FIFO basis? For example, I'm just explaining this. For example, in tax year 17, 18, 19, 20, your annual allowance limit is 40 and 40. And let's say there's a gross PPC of, assuming 20, 15 and let's say 30, which means unused annual allowances, if I deduct these, in 17-18 annual allowance is 40,000, in 18-19 it is 40, in 19-20 it is 40, okay. So unused is 20,000, 25 and 10. Okay. These are the unused limits. Current tax year is let's say 2021, and Mr. A has contributed $55,000 into gross PPC. You are required to calculate annual allowance carried forward. Okay. So this is a very simple question. Let's say in 17-18 annual allowance and all this, and in what is happening in 2021, Mr. A has contributed 55,000 into gross PPC. You are required to calculate annual allowance carried forward. We need to calculate annual allowance carried forward. Okay. So how do we calculate annual allowance carried forward for 2021? Okay. Now listen and listen carefully. How do we solve this question? First, let me write the tax years. Always start the question from the current tax year, which is 2021. Annual allowance is 40,000. Okay. Gross PPC. We'll see what it is. You need to start the question always from the current year. Your current tax year is 2021, annual allowance is 40, whatever the gross PPC, leave for that. After this, you have to go to 3 years back. How many years? 3 years back. Step 2, you need to go to 3 years back, and you will be using unused limits on FIFO basis. FIFO means first in, first out. My question is, out of these 3 tax years, what do you think? Which tax year comes first? Obviously 1718. Obviously 1718. Let me repeat my question. Your current tax year is 2021. First you have to write 2021. After that you have to go 2-3 years back, and you have to use unused limits on FIFO basis. FIFO means first in, first out. My question is, out of these 3 tax years, which tax year comes first? Obviously 1718. Now listen and listen carefully. How I'm going to write? 1718, 1819 and 1920. Okay. In 1718, you have unused limit 20,000. You have only 20. In 1819, you have unused limit 25. Okay. In 1920, you have unused limit of 10,000. Okay. My current tax year is 2021, and Mr. A has contributed 55,000. So how I'm going to deal with that? Obviously, I cannot deduct 55 from 40. So I'm deducting only 40,000. Now the question is, still 15,000 are left. Remaining 15,000 will be deducted from previous unused limits. And how do we use those unused limits? From the current tax years, you need to go to 3 years back, and you will be using unused limits of previous 3 tax years on FIFO basis or FIFO basis, which means first in, first out. So remaining 15,000 will be deducted from 1780. Obviously I won't be able to deduct anything from here. Now I'm asking unused annual allowance, how much is left? I don't have anything unused over here. We do have unused, how much? That is 5,000. 1819 unused is 25. 1920 unused is 10. Okay. Now the next question is, examiner has also asked us to give me unused annual allowance limit which is going to be carried forward. Now let's calculate. Carried forward unused annual allowance in 2021. I need to tell my examiner, carried forward unused annual allowance in 2021. Now listen carefully. I need to find out carried forward. So when it comes to find out carried forward limit for 2021, I cannot carry forward this 5,000. Question is, why can't you carry forward this 5,000? Actually, unused limit can only be carried forward for 3 tax years. Unused limit can only be carried forward for 3 tax years, not more than that. Not more than that. So when I'm finding out carried forward limit for 2021, then I'm going to count 2021 as well. If I count 2021, that is tax year 1, this is going to be 2 and this is going to be 3. Now 17-18 unused annual allowance limit. Further I cannot carry forward this, because maximum time period for unused annual allowance limit is you can carry forward only how many years? 3 tax years, not more than that. So 17-18 cannot be further carried forward. So your carry forward limit will be only 35,000. Your carry forward limit will be only 35,000. So now I hope you have understood what I mean by FIFO basis. So your answer is positive. Whenever your answer is positive, what do you need to do? You have to carry forward the unused annual allowance limit for 3 tax years. It will be utilized on FIFO basis. So 17-18 cannot be further carried forward, because when you go back from 2021, including this, so your 3 tax years, 2021, 19, 20, 18, 19. Now these 3 tax years unused limits can be carried forward for future tax years. But now 17-18 cannot come over here. Actually 17-18, 19-20, let me write nicely, 17-18, 18-19 and 19-20. Their unused limit was carried forward for 2021 earlier. Carried forward for 2021 means actually their unused limit was actually brought forward for 2021. It was a brought forward limit for 2021. So now, logically, 18-19, 19-20 and 2021. These are the 3 tax years. Their unused limit can be further carried forward in 2021. And carry forward in 2021 means actually it is going to be brought forward for 21-22. If something is carried forward in 2021, actually it means it is brought forward for 21 and 22. In case of here, just a minute. Actually it was carried forward for 19-20 and it was actually brought forward for 2021. Now it makes more sense. So unused limit of 3 tax years, 17-18, 18-19 and 19-20 is carried forward for 19-20 carried forward, and whatever you have carried forward in 19-20, it will be actually brought forward for 2021. And it happened. Look at this. These all are unused amounts, unused limits brought forward for 2021. So now I hope you have clearly understood that why 17-18 unused limit we can't further carry forward. Like For example, if I write 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. So unused limits of annual allowance. We will say carry forward 2021, which means brought forward for 21 and 22. So let me repeat, your annual allowance limit is actually 40,000. If there is an unused limit, then unused limit can be carried forward for 3 tax years. How do we use that unused limit? Actually, we use that unused limit on FIFO basis. Now the next question is, it is also possible that annual allowance limit, which is 40,000, if I deduct all the contribution, your answer could be negative also. What if the answer is negative 30,000? What to do now? Assuming there is a contribution of 30, there is a contribution of 10, there is a contribution of 10, and there is a contribution of 20 also. See, employer has contributed, employer, employee, employee. So, if you come across a question where you have contributed more than the limit, what I really want to say, your answer is negative, then what should be done? Number one, this negative amount is called annual allowance charge. Annual allowance charge. What is annual allowance charge? Annual allowance charge means your contribution is more than the limit. Your contribution is more than the limit. When your contribution is more than the limit, we called it annual allowance charge. And that annual allowance charge is treated as non-saving income. Which income? Non-saving income. And you have to calculate tax on this annual allowance charge at the end of all other sources of income, number one. And number two, you need to apply non-saving tax rates. Repeat, whenever you come across a question where you have actually contributed more than the annual allowance limit, then annual allowance charge will arise. An annual allowance charge is treated as non-saving income, and on that non-saving income you have to pay tax at the end of all other sources of income by applying non-saving tax rates. So there is only one question. The question is, how do we deal with these things? Okay, now let us see a question so that I can clear myself a little bit more. We have discussed this. This is written. Let us discuss question number 20. Actually, question number 20 is going to clear number of your concepts, inshallah. Question 20. Mr. N has an employment income of 96,000. He is having an employment income of 96,000. Following contributions were made in the pension plan. Okay. Employee contribution in occupational pension is 35,000. Employee contribution in occupational pension is 35. We have discussed plenty of times. Whenever employee contributes in occupational pension plan, such contribution reduces his or her employment income. Okay. Employer contribution in occupational pension plan is an exempt benefit. Mr. N contributes in PPC 12 is net and 15,000 is gross. If anyone contributes in PPC for himself or herself, contribution in PPC is not an expense for that individual. So you are not supposed to deduct contribution in PPC from any income for that particular individual who has contributed. Mr. N has no unused annual allowance. So he does not have any unused annual allowance, means he does not have any brought forward annual allowance limit. Only the current year annual allowance limit is available, which is 40,000. Okay. Now let us solve this question 20. There is an employment income We have employment income of 96,000. Let's deduct. Employees' contribution in OPPC, which is 35. Employer's contribution is an exempt benefit. Employer's contribution, simply exempt benefit. So actually this individual is having total income of $61,000. From this 61 we will be deducting personal allowance of 12,500. We'll get taxable income. So taxable income is 48,500. Okay. Now let's calculate income tax. Before calculating income tax, we need to find out what is the limit of the basic rate band. Actually, the basic rate band limit is 37,500, but we have to add gross PPC into this. Gross PPC in this question is 15,000. If we add 15,000 into 37,500, so basic rate band limit comes to 52,500. So actually Mr. N is not having a basic rate band limit of 37,500. Actually Mr. N is having a basic rate band limit of 52,500, which means entire 48,500 falls in basic rate band. In basic rate band, tax rate is 20% for non-saving income. Okay. Now we need to check that contribution, does the contribution exceed annual allowance limit? If yes, then annual allowance charge will arise, and on that annual allowance charge we have to pay tax. Let me show you the working one. Annual allowance is 40,000. Annual allowance is 40,000. Okay. Employee has contributed Mr. N. OPPC contribution is 35. Employer contribution is 15. Employer's contribution is 15. And Mr. N has also contributed in PPC. Mr. N gross PPC contribution is also 15. Which means there is excess contribution, and excess contribution is actually called annual allowance charge. Annual allowance charge. And on that annual allowance charge you have to pay tax. Let me deduct 40,000. If we deduct 35, then 15, and then 15. So there is an annual allowance charge of 25,000. On this 25,000 you have to pay tax, number one. And number two, applicable tax rates are non-saving rates. Okay, now come here. You have to be very careful. Your basic rate band limit is actually 52,500, and out of that 52,500 you have used 48,500. So how much is left? How much space is left in basic rate band? Actually we have a basic rate band limit of 52,500, and out of that we have used 48,500, which means that we are left with 4,000. On that 4,000 I'll apply 20%, obviously 800. Now listen, your annual allowance charge is 25,000. From this 25, Actually, this 4,000, this is your annual allowance charge. This 4,000 falls in basic rate band and 21,000 actually falls in higher rate band. Repeat. Your basic rate band limit is 52,500, but out of that 52,500 you have already used 48,500. Now there is an annual allowance charge of 25,000. From that 25,000, 4,000 actually falls in basic rate band, which means 21,000 falls in higher rate band. With the tax rate is 40%. So it means income tax payable. Tax payable for Mr. N is 18,900. So as I told you before, if someone contributes more than the limit, annual allowance limit, then excess contribution is called annual allowance charge, and on that annual allowance charge you have to pay tax. And applicable tax rates are non-saving rates. So I have to stop the video over here, otherwise it will become a very long video. In next class, what I'll be discussing a little bit more on pension, then I'll be discussing NIC inshallah, a very little topic of trust, and something more discussion on annual allowance, and very tiny discussion. I think maximum we need 40 to 45 more minutes to start employment income. So very soon inshallah we'll start employment income. So thank you very much for watching this video.